Gel printing looks so easy when you watch someone else do it, but when you try, the paint doesn't come off the plate, or your paper rips, or your colors look terrible. None of your prints turn out the way you hoped. We're going to fix that today. Gel printing is as easy as it looks when you know these 9 things. I'll show you the most common gel printing mistakes and how to fix them. I'll cover everything from how much paint to use and how to spread it out without blobs, to exactly how long to leave the paper on the plate, and more. These tips will be helpful for anyone that isn't happy with their gel prints, whether you're a beginner or you've been printing for a while. I've watched countless tutorials and I've been gel printing for years, and it took me way too long to pick up on some of these tricks. I hope this video creates a shortcut for you. This video isn't about creating a specific type of print or outcome. It's about the techniques you need to know to make all your prints more successful. The basic process of gel printing is pretty simple. You apply paint to the gel plate, you modify the paint in some way, like pressing bubble wrap on it to create a texture, then you place a piece of paper on the wet paint and pull a print. But things can easily go wrong at each step in the process. Let's start with the paint. This is where lots of things can go wrong, but they're all easy to fix. What paint to use? The first thing you'll hear about gel printing is you can use any acrylic paint. While that is technically true, they don't all work that well. I almost gave up on gel printing until I changed the paints I was using. Craft paints work, but their consistency varies. They may leave your prints with a chalky finish. Because craft paints are pre-mixed colors, they can be tricky to mix together without getting muddy colors. You also don't need really high-end paints. When craft paints didn't work for me, I splurged on golden fluid acrylics. They are so hard to work with. I get lacing every time I use them. That's where the paint starts to separate on the plate and makes this lacy look. It happens with new gel plates for a few prints, no matter what paint you use, but it goes away quickly. I always get lacing with golden fluid acrylics. They also dry extremely fast, so you have to work fast or part of your print won't transfer to the paper. Finally, I tried 2 brands that work reliably: Amsterdam Standard and Liquitex Basics. They just work every time. If you want to try these paint brands and see if you like them, just try one color. I recommend trying Liquitex Basics in Mars Black or Amsterdam Standard in Prussian Blue. Both perform beautifully and create nice, high contrast prints on white paper. I'll share some more tips about color in a moment after I show you how much paint to use and how to spread it out evenly with a brayer. How much paint to use? It takes a little practice to figure out the right amount of paint you need to cover the plate. You need less paint than you think. How much paint you need depends on the consistency of the paint you're using and the size of your gel plate. Too much paint causes slipping and leaves too much paint behind on the plate. If your texture tools and paper are sliding around or you can pull multiple ghost prints, you're probably using too much paint and losing detail in your prints. To fix it, use your brayer to remove some of the paint and roll it off onto a piece of scrap paper. Remove excess paint until you have a nice, smooth, almost matte layer of paint on the plate. Use less paint to start with next time. Too little paint won't cover the plate and starts disappearing back on the brayer. If you can't cover the whole plate or some areas are more transparent than others, you have too little paint. To fix it, add more paint and roll it out again until the plate has a nice, smooth layer of paint. Just the right amount of paint will give you a smooth, even coating across the plate. You won't have a lot of excess paint to roll off of your brayer. If your paint is opaque, it will look like a smooth, matte layer of paint. If your paint is semi-opaque or translucent, you'll be able to see through the paint, but it should be an even translucency across the plate. For my 9 by 12 inch gel plate with Amsterdam or Liquitex Basics, I have found 5 dots of paint is just right. If I'm using multiple colors, I still use a total of 5 dots. When you're applying a layer of paint to pull a print, you should be able to see the pattern or texture through the layer of paint. How to use a brayer. If you get blobs of color in your prints or you're having trouble spreading the paint evenly across the plate, it's probably your brayer technique. Don't roll your brayer back and forth like you're painting a wall. Rolling the brayer back and forth actually causes blobs and removes paint from the plate right after you've rolled it on. Instead, roll the brayer in one direction only and lift at the edge of the plate and start rolling again from the other edge. Use light pressure when you're rolling. You don't have to press down at all. You just need the brayer to contact the plate. When you get the brayer technique right, you'll cover your plate faster and more evenly. Here's a fun way to practice your brayer technique. Make full-page color swatches of your acrylic paints. If you're using proper brayer technique, you should be able to create nice, solid color swatches. These also come in handy when you're not sure what color to use in the background of a print. You can slide these swatches under your plate to help you decide. Next, let's look at layering. The wonderful thing about the gel plate is you're not limited to single color prints. You can layer colors, texture, and patterns to create really intricate prints. But it only works if you create enough contrast between colors and layer them in the right order. Which color to put down first? When it comes to color, there's two things to think about: creating contrast and color order. First, you want to make sure you're choosing colors that contrast enough. If the contrast between your colors is too low, it will be hard to see the pattern or texture in the print. If you have a higher contrast between colors, that pattern or texture will pop. It can be surprisingly hard at first to get good contrast because a lot of acrylic paints fall in a mid-tone range. So when you're choosing paints, make sure you get a few darker colors and lighter colors so you have a full value range. The next thing to think about is color order. Which color do you put on the plate first? Whatever color goes on the plate first is going to show up on top of your print. Let me show you why this matters. On this print, I use the gray-green color first on the plate. It's an opaque color, but even opaque colors are never fully opaque over darker colors. Also, the sink mat I used as a texture tool doesn't remove all the paint, leaving this haze of that green-gray color behind. So this print ends up looking muddy. I thought maybe these two colors don't work well together. But look what happened when I reversed the colors. I put the turquoise blue down first, applied the texture, then used the green-gray as the background color to pick up the print, and this print turned out so much better. So until you get used to what colors work well together and in what order, I recommend working from dark to light, then consider opacity. Here's another example. For these prints, I put down my darkest color first, which was ultramarine blue. Since it's semi-opaque, it doesn't look like blue in the final print because the green colors beneath it are showing through. But it still shows up as a dark color because it's darker than the colors below it. The second layer was a mid-tone green, and the final layer was light olive green, which is also semi-opaque. But if I had put the light olive green first or even second, it wouldn't even show up over the other colors because it's too light and not opaque. One more example. This print has a mix of ultramarine blue and quinacridone magenta in the foreground, which are both semi-opaque colors, but they are also dark, so they went on the plate first. Then the background color is light blue permanent, which is a lighter opaque color. Try this. When you're setting up for a print, set out the colors you want to use in dark to light order. Dark goes on the plate first and light goes on the plate last. How to layer on the plate. I just showed you prints that have up to 4 colors and textures in one print. How do you do that? When you watch tutorials, you might hear the terms single pull or one pull. That means layering paint on the gel plate and pulling it all at once rather than printing each layer separately. But if you don't know the right technique, you'll mess up the layers that are already on the plate. So, the most basic way of layering on the gel plate is using a second color to pull the print, commonly called the pickup layer. So instead of the white paper showing through like on this print, you can have a color in the background. You do that by adding the second color before putting the paper down to pull the print. But watch what happens when I pull off the bubble wrap and immediately add another layer of paint. The two colors start mixing together. This mixing will be worse if you're using too much paint. You end up with a sloppy print. Now, watch what happens if I pull the bubble wrap and let this layer dry on the plate before adding the second layer of color and pulling the print. There's no color mixing when I add the second color, and the texture prints clearly with the second color in the background. The advantage to building up layers on the plate is you can add texture or pattern to each of the layers as you go. That's how you create patterns within patterns and super intricate designs. But you have to let each layer dry on the plate before adding more paint. You also need to use proper brayer techniques so you don't reactivate the lower layers when you add new paint. How to use clear medium. What if your paint has started drying on the plate, but you don't want to use another color to pick it up? What if you want a transparent background? You can use clear medium instead of colored paint to pick up a print. It's a really handy trick to know for making transparent collage papers on tissue paper or deli paper, or for printing directly on vintage book pages so you can see the text in the background. You simply use the clear medium instead of paint to pick up the print. Clear medium is one of those supplies you should add to your toolkit as soon as you're able. They can be pricey, but my favorite one was actually the least expensive. I have used all of these. I started with golden matte medium, which I also use for collage. I also tried Liquitex matte medium and gloss mediums. They all work, but my favorite clear medium for the gel plate is Liquitex Basics Acrylics Gel Gloss Medium. It has the same consistency as the acrylic paints I use, so I know the right amount to use to cover the plate. And because it's thicker, it's easier to see it on the plate to make sure I have full coverage. Now let's talk about paper and pulling prints. Just like paint, you can technically use any paper to pull prints except photo paper. That'll mess up your gel plate. But some papers work better than others for certain purposes. What paper to use? Copy paper is the default recommendation for gel printing beginners because it's affordable and accessible. Personally, I don't like printing on copy paper. You should choose your paper based on what you'll use the print for. If you're learning, use copy paper. If you want to frame your finished print or make a greeting card, print on heavier paper or cardstock. You can also print on vintage or found papers or directly into a journal. If you want to use your prints in collage, use rice paper, deli paper, or wet strength tissue paper, which are all thinner papers and glue down better than copy paper. You can also use deli paper or tissue paper to make translucent collage papers. Deli paper comes in this big dispenser box, which I love. It's got 500 sheets. I keep it out when I'm printing because it also makes a good cleanup paper, like if the paper I'm printing on is smaller than the gel plate. And it makes a good roll-off paper for the brayer. It can handle a lot more paint layers than copy paper. Some techniques require certain papers to get the best results. For example, in botanical gel printing, copy paper does not work well to pull the paint from around the leaves and stems. The paper is too stiff. Tissue paper or deli paper like this work much better for pulling off the paint and getting all the details around the botanicals. And then you can print that detail on any paper you prefer. How long to leave the paper on the plate? Timing is everything. When pulling a print, you need to either pull it immediately after pressing the paper down or wait until the paint and paper are completely dry. If you pull a print that has started drying but isn't all the way dry, you risk ripping your paper, having it stick to the plate, and not getting the full print to transfer. This can be worse with certain types of paper like rice paper. So when should you pull immediately versus letting the paper dry on the plate? Use the fast printing method and pull the paper immediately when you want to work fast, you want a grungy effect because pulling immediately will leave some paint behind on the plate, you want to take a ghost print, that's the second print you get from the leftover paint, or when you want to clear off the paint from around a stencil or mask. Use the patient printing method and wait for the print to dry on the plate. When you're okay with getting fewer, better prints, quality over quantity, if you peek at the back of your plate and love what you see and hope it all transfers to your paper, you want to get all the paint off the plate and you want a smooth, even print. You do need to be patient or use a hairdryer on a low setting to speed up drying. Sometimes you may mix methods for the same print. For example, in botanical printing, you would pull immediately to remove the paint from around the leaves, but then if you want to get all of the beautiful leaf detail in the final print, you would use the patient printing method and let that paper dry on the plate before you pull it. How to get grunge or avoid it. After you've pulled a few prints, you may notice some grunge or leftover paint building up on your plate. It may pick up in another print, and some gel printers love the serendipitous, grungy effects you can get with gel printing. But grunge is optional. Mono printing has a certain imperfect aesthetic to it, but it does not have to include grunge. You can take very clean prints too. Here are some prints made with the same texture tool. These two have considerably more grunge than these. To create this more grungy look, I applied paint to the plate, added my texture tool, and then I pressed this page quickly onto the plate and lifted it off. Some of the paint was left behind and some of the text from this vintage typewriter book transferred to the plate as well. I let all that grungy goodness dry on the plate, then used titanium buff to pull this second print. For this cleaner print, I started out with a magazine image transfer of some flowers. I let that dry completely. Then I applied titanium white and used my texture tool to create the pattern around the flowers. I let that layer dry and then added the pink background color to pull the print. Same tools, totally different look. So if grunge isn't the style you're going for, try these tips. Clean your gel plate between prints. You can use a baby wipe or spray with water and wipe with a shop towel, which I prefer because you can reuse a shop towel a lot longer than a baby wipe. If there's a lot of leftover paint on your plate or buildup around the edges, you can clean it with baby oil or Murphy's oil soap. The other way to clean off grunge and buildup is to take a cleanup print. Apply paint, press down a piece of paper, and wait for it to fully dry on the plate. When you pull it up, all the old paint should also come off the plate. These cleanup prints can make nice grungy backgrounds, or you can print more on top of them. Paint buildup and grunge happens with the fast printing method. If you use the patient printing method, where you wait for the paint to fully dry on the plate before you pull it, you're effectively doing a cleanup print every time and paint won't build up on your plate. Put all these tips into practice and you'll instantly improve your gel printing process and start creating prints you love. So the next thing you'll need is a good storage system for all your gel printing supplies, papers, and finished prints. Check out my video on how I organize everything I use for gel printing in one small cabinet.